Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. Today I'm reviewing a book which has come to us from Globe Law and Business, and it's an important book. It's one that I think is going to be with us for a while, because there are going to be a lot of changes taking place between the United Kingdom and the rest of Europe in terms of our legal and political relationships. This book is actually called the European Union Trademark. It's a practical guide, and it's been written by Mark Holah and Patricia Collis. As I say, it's been published by Globe Law and Business as part of their publications, which are a great help to us in this particular area of IP. Elizabeth and I gave a review title to our book review. As Europe enters a crucial phase in its history, here's an invaluable work of reference on the modern trademark. Now, all my comments are made on the basis that we are, and this is being recorded, this particular clip, in 2017, at the beginning of the year, we are just about to embark on leaving the European Union. There will be a lot of changes, but none of them are really going to be that profound, actually, for the immediate future. But we can certainly see a lot of changes taking place. Let's look at the book first of all. It's a hardback. There's the book there, that's the front. There is the spine, and then there's a little bit of information on the back. Now, the book runs to something approaching 360 odd pages. The index, which is at the back there, is by page number. It's quite a detailed index, actually. It was very helpful, I thought. You can see there's the front of the index. And then you've got detail about the two authors right at the back. Then you've got the actual text itself there. And if we go to the front of the book, the way they like to do it, there we go. I'm just going to put that up the right way so you can read it. Practical guide. There's the basic blurb about the book, and then here's the table of contents. There are a number of parts you can see to the book, up to part H, and the 32 basic individual chapters. And then there's a preface which is quite useful, starting off explaining a little bit about the book itself and what it's about. I did find the glossary helpful, because one of the areas, I mean, I've been involved in this particular area of law a little bit over the last 25-30 years, and it is quite technical, and so I think it's quite useful to have this little glossary to help you understand the various things. I mean, people know what WIPO means, WTO and so forth, but it's amazing, you can sometimes have a little mental block, so it's useful to have this just to help you out a bit. Here we go, here's the actual chapter structure. Chapter 1, Introduction to the Union and the EUTM system. Then you've got paragraph numbering there, and then you see it runs through it along that way, with subheads, of course, all the way through. There aren't any footnotes as such, but what you do have at the back is you have further referencing in each of the chapters, which gives you some leads to look further if you need to into a particular area. That includes, for instance, here, this is on restitution, and you've got further referencing and then case law and so forth. So it's a detailed book, and very much the stable in terms of house style and content of the sort of work that Globe produced. And I'd like to thank Sean O'Neill and Nicola Hornby and all the others very much indeed for the work they do to give us these books, because they do help our practice, no question about that. So what do we say about the book? Well, we say this: published by Globe Law and Business, the European Union Trademark is a business-like book. Dispensing with the extraneous commentary, it focuses purely on the facts pertaining to the way in which the European Union Trademark, that's the EUTM system, actually works. The result is a practical guide for practitioners needing to understand the EUTM system. Its objective, which is clear-eyed, clearly explained, and up-to-date throughout. Now, speaking of timeliness, the two expert authors, who are both lawyers, reveal that the book was written when the UK referendum on European membership took place in June 2016. Rather a long time ago now, as it's now January 2017, and we're preparing for all sorts of things. Of course, it confirmed that the British had voted by a smallish majority to leave the European Union. Now, the authors hasten to point out, however, that in their view, the formal process of withdrawal will likely not be completed until early 2019, adding that in the meantime, the UK remains a full member of the EU and EUTM rights continue to apply to the country. Absolutely right. I mean, clearly some people's views are it would take a decade. But at the moment, we look like we're triggering the exit in March of 2017, and we've been given 2 years. So we'll see what happens. But I don't expect any big changes immediately, but it's there at the back, and one's got to have it at the back of one's mind. The authors, by the way, are respectively a senior partner and associate at the London-based firm of Bird and Bird. Mark Holah has acted for thousands of EUTM, formerly CTM applications, particularly on brand protection, a very important area, and is cited as a leading individual in the relevant directories and guides, including the Guide to the World's Leading Trademark Law Practitioners. So you have it from a real expert. And experts do count, just in case people think they don't. Patricia Collis also specialises in trademark law, primarily in brand protection and trademark portfolio management, which encompasses a range of experience that includes the United Kingdom National Trademark System and cross proceedings at national and EU level. So again, another very, very experienced person. In all, the book is as clear and succinct an analysis of the workings of the EUTM system as you're likely to find anywhere. Also, and this is useful by way of reminder, it includes an introduction to the structure of the EU itself, referring to throughout the text as the Union, not the EU. Interesting. Divided then into 8 parts, the book provides details of, for example, the EUTM application process, including the formalities involved in filing an application and what happens if anything is missing. Note also the advice on such matters as opposition procedures and appeals processes, always very important in any law book, of course. And there are also coverage of international marks, the Madrid Protocol, and of course much, much more. You might well ask if any or all of this will be relevant when the UK leaves the EU. No member state has ever left the Union, say the authors ominously. And while it's clear as to what might happen when a member state has the temerity to do so, the authors speculate that not all EUTM rights would be lost by the departing country. They suggest that certain mechanics might allow EUTM applications and registrations to be turned into national registrations and applications. Time obviously will tell, and I would suggest that whatever happens, we are going to have some sort of selection about what we want to keep by way of European Union laws, which are a benefit to Britain. And that's something which is going to take a much longer period of time for us to identify and incorporate in future legal, in our future English legal system post-Brexit. So we'll have to see where we go, but I think there's a lot of work for lawyers, and it's by far and away a complex area. Let me conclude by saying this, that for practitioners involved in IP and or trademark law, this book certainly excels as a work of reference, and those requiring references to legislation and case law will notice the further references section at the end of each of the chapters, or most of the chapters anyway, plus some useful website addresses, including that of the European Commission and other relevant sites. And the publication date is cited at 2016. I think it's a very important book, this one, and again, thank you to Globe. There is the front of it, you can see that front, and then you've got the spine, and then you've got the bits at the back. And if we just open it up in the middle, you can see this is dealing with termination of proceedings. See the basic structure there. So say there is it's reasonably easy to find one way around it. You've got paragraph numbering, you've got some diagrams and various other tables, but you've got you've got a certain amount of subheadings and so forth. But it's actually a relatively easy text to read, and it should help you with what you're looking for. And of course, the index at the back is actually pretty detailed, as you can see from that. Well, thank you to Mark Holah and Patricia Collis and all at Globe Law and Business for another excellent book from that publication, Firm Publishers. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you. Bye-bye.